good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here. Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you had a nice Christmas. Let's say nice Christmas. It's because I'm too much in the festivities, that's probably why. I hope you had a nice weekend, guys. Definitely losing it today. I hope it was, hope it all went well. Hope you're all still keeping warm. It is still rather chilly today, to be fair. As for people worrying about my health, I'm okay. I'm okay. I was just burnt out of exhaustion on Friday, guys. That's why I didn't do a live stream. And I'm probably not going to do live streams or premiere videos going forward. I'm probably just going to keep it as a free day, most likely. Like Friday lights are cool, but they take more work to do than any of my other projects, believe it or not. So I may do it again someday, but there's no plans. I definitely can't do it this Friday. I already said. So apologies for those who were expecting it. And besides, you get Daily Blase's Friday Frolic anyway. So you're not missing out on anything too much anyway, to be fair, guys. So this is the Snowflake Viewpoint episode 82, where we cover some of the latest news in the UK. I've got 6 stories for us we're going to be going through here. The date and time of this live stream is the 16th of December 2024 at 8 PM UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/REGANELITE and on twitch.tv/REGANELITE1. So for hello to those on the Twitch chat, I do have the chat open for the Twitchies. If you guys want to say hello there, you're more than welcome to do so. But we have a couple of people here already lurking and saying hello in the YouTube chat. Who have we got? Leapshim. I hope I said that name right. Good to see you there, nice and early. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Alistair Keir, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well as well. One of our moderators. Genie Bottle is here. Don't panic, I'm here, it says Genie Bottle. You're here. Yes, you are here, Genie Bottle. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Aki Smag, good to see you, buddy. Listening for a wee while. No worries, buddy, no worries. Hope you're doing well. Joe is also here. Good to see you, Joe. How you doing? Joe Lefty there. Good to see you, Joe. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you as well. Yeah. Health-wise, I'm fine, guys. I'm a lot better than I was a week ago. Yeah, it's just burnout. It's all it was, guys. It's all it was. Ben Shaw, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Apologies for not... Apologies, guys, about games nights. Like, yeah, I've just not been able to... Just problem after problem with games nights, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to the guys on Saturday nights. And I definitely... Yeah, I'm out. For a wrestling show on Saturday night, so I definitely can't host. Really sorry, guys, but I know because I wanted to do a Christmas games night. I could do one on Sunday night if people are interested. I could host one on Sunday night if people are interested. The problem is All Shorts is more likely to stream, so I do apologise for those on games nights because it's normally me or Lee Korn. One of us is hosting, and Lee forgot to host. So I am sorry because yeah, I've not been there for a couple of games tonight, so I do apologise, guys. There's no after chat tonight, but what I'll do is I will host one Wednesday night after the Snowflake show with myself and Lee Korn. If Lee wants to join for a Discord after chat, he's more than welcome to join us as well. But I'm going to host a Discord after chat on Wednesday night, guys, so not one tonight. So just for reference there. Yeah, because this Wednesday, if you didn't know, myself and Lee Korn doing a one-off Christmas special of the Snowflake show. We've had a lot of fun with the Snowflake show. For those who want to check it out, you can check out the original show, youtube.com/. It used to be called Snowflake Show. He's changed the name of it, Lee. But it's still got all the content on there of me and Lee Korn in our old days. So do worth checking out. But yeah, we're going to be doing a show on Wednesday. It'll be a bit of fun and whatnot. So, and on Thursday I will have the Snowflake Watch instead of on Wednesday night, guys. So just for reference as well. Right. So let's get started. So this first one is going to blow my gasket. Dave McGinnis, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I am going to blow my gasket over this one. I've been patiently waiting to cover this one. So this first one is from The Guardian. So public anger over water bill rises is justified, says the UK Environment Secretary. So a complete reset of the water industry needed in the face of poor service, pollution and leaks, said Steve Reid. Now, yes, the water industry needs a complete reset. it is broken. Yes, we are all in agreement that it is broken. We all agree that that these private companies have basically taken us all for fools. They have polluted our waters. They have discharged so much sewage, and there's been a very severe lack of accountability. But there is no need to raise water bills. There is no justifiability whatsoever to raise water bills. I'm sorry, but this government saying that they have to raise water bills is absolutely effing bull. It's bull. They can stop this. They can stop these water bills rising. There is no justification whatsoever for these water bills to rise. They get enough money from customers as it is. There is more than enough money to justify getting the work, that the repairs and works that they need to be done. They should not be accepting this in any way, shape or form. The government should not be allowing this. They should not be allowing this. I am absolutely fuming that they are allowing these water companies to raise our water bills. They are already high enough as it is in England. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke that they are allowing this. Should not be happening in any way, shape or form. And yet here he is. Here's the Environment Secretary saying, I feel your anger. Well, if you feel our anger, do something about it. Because clearly you're not doing anything about it. And this guy, I'm pretty certain he's got links here to certain companies. I'm pretty sure we discussed it in the past about this man, you know. And he was taken to the woodsheds by Kate Burley at one interview, I remember as well. I'm sure someone will remind me. But make no mistake about it, yeah? These water bills do not need to go up, yeah? It is a political choice to do so, yeah? It is a political choice to do so. And if anyone tells you that they can't nationalize the water companies, okay, because of the debts, right? Let me, there was someone, I can't remember who it was. I do apologize, but there was, I'm sure someone will clarify the story about what I'm going to share. So apparently, after World War II, we nationalized a lot of industries to come back into public hands. No cash was exchanged. It was all bought by bonds. Why can't we do the same with water companies? Just a fault. Just a fault. So public anger over a significant increase in water bills will be unveiled this week, will be justified. The Environment Secretary has warned, as households across England and Wales are forced to pay for a catastrophic failure of underinvestment and toothless regulation. No, we don't need to pay for this. We do not need to pay for this. There is a choice. There is a choice in this. We do not need to pay for this. There is no justifiability for us be paying any more for our water bills. There's no justifiability whatsoever. With the government braced for a backlash over the increases, and rightly so, Steve Reed told The Observer that a widespread failure of regulation and governance was to blame for bill rises expected to average at least 21% over the next 5 years. He said a complete reset of the water industry was needed in the face of poor service, polluted waterways and persistent leaks. Yeah, do you know what a good reset would be? Nationalising it. Nationalising our water industry. That would be a good reset, you know, if you're very serious about it. The water industry regulator, Ofwat, has already warned that the increases are needed to pay for improvements. This is 100% bullshit. They don't need to increase bills to pay for improvements. They do not need this. This is a lie. Yeah, this is a lie. They have more than enough money to pay for it. It is just, the problem is the money just goes straight into shareholders. It goes straight into shareholders, doesn't even go towards the infrastructure. Yeah, all that excess money that we pay doesn't to say that money cannot be used for improvements is BS. It's absolute lie. However, a concentrated push by water companies could mean that bill rises by even more than £94 over 5 years that Ofwat signalled in the summer. They have been pushing for an average increase of 40%, pushing bills to £615 a year by 2030. I remember when I was renting, and this is more than like, what is this, 8 years ago? And the water bills were like between £20 to £30. £615 a year. What is that divided by 12? Someone do the maths. Absolutely insane. I always live stream at this time, Liebschicken. Amid warnings that the hikes could hit many families already in the financial distress, Reeves said he was now doing everything he could to fix a broken and discredited system to stop similar price rises happening again. No one wants to see these bills rise, he said. I share people's anger that this will be happening. We don't know what the final figure will be. But the higher bills people will be seeing is because of the Conservatives' failure over the last 14 years to invest in improving the water infrastructure. It's got crumbling infrastructure, it's got bursting pipes, and we've got the highest level of sewage ever recorded. People up and down the country are furious about the levels of sewage pollution in our rivers, lakes and seas. At the same time, the Tories allowed money to be spent on bonuses and shareholder payouts, £41 million in bonuses in 2020, to all executives who are overseeing the catastrophic failure. Just get rid of it. Just nationalise it. Just nationalise it. Reeves said the government was already bringing in the new rules, ring-fencing money for investment. Well, if this is true, right? If this part was true, then we wouldn't need to increase the water bills. If this part was true, £51.20. Thank you, Artibus, for that. £51.25 per month. £20 increase. That's a lot of money. As well as handing off the power to ban unfair bonuses and introduce personal criminal liability for executives responsible for pollution. The Commission has also been ordered to draw up the biggest reset in 35 years. He added, this government cannot undo the damage the Tories did to our water structure by refusing to invest in the 14 years. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm angry about what the Conservatives have done. I really am. I'm furious about them, and rightfully so. However, it's about the here and now and what can be done. And this Labour government are choosing not to freeze water bills. They are allowing this to happen. It's very, very important for people to understand that. I know there's no way that I can undo the damage. It's happened, and now consumers are being asked by Ofwat to pay the price of that failure. What I can do is make sure it never happens again. However, Reeves said he could not intervene in Ofwat's ruling over the price increases to be announced on Thursday. He said it was an independent regulator overseeing the independent process. Bullshit, guys. This is bullshit. I'm sorry. I wanted to refrain from swearing. Reeves, this is absolute hogwash. You can stop this. Since the summer, there have been demands for rises to be blocked and for Ofwat to be abolished. Last year, the Observer revealed that 2/3 of England's biggest water companies were employing executives who had previously worked at the watchdog. Ed Davey, the Liberal Democrat leader, called for Ofwat to be scrapped. Families across the country, already struggling to make ends meet, have been faced with sky-high water bills, while water company executives have lined their pockets with bonuses, he said. This cannot continue. A useless, tired regulator won't end the scandal of bonuses for sewage dumpers. The Liberal Democrats are urging the government to scrap Ofwat and introduce a tough new regulator with real teeth to make sure water companies put customers and the environment first instead of just lining their pockets and their shareholders. As much as, like, this is not going to fix the problem. As long as water companies are in the hands of private companies, it will always come down. It will never be the case of ensuring that we have clean quality water and having the best service possible, as long as it is controlled by capitalist dogs or private companies. Like, you can change the Ofwat, you can change that around. It won't fix the issue. The prices come after years of public anger over the state of waterways and criticism that water companies have pumped funds into bonuses and dividends while underinvesting in aging infrastructure. And this is exactly what's going to happen when the prices go up again. With sewage discharge at record levels, and in March it was unveiled that untreated human waste was discharged at more than 3.6 million hours into the rivers and sea last year, up 105% from 2022. That's thanks to Brexit as well. You have to add Brexit to that as well. In serious criticism of Ofwat and the previous government, Reeves said that the regulation is clearly far too weak. He has commissioned the former Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, Sir John Cutley, to look at the complete reset of the water sector, though the plans will not be enacted until after the general election, after the next election. If you had damp in your home and you didn't fix it, then 10 years later it will be far worse. And you have to pay much more to put it right, he said. That's exactly what's happened with our water sector. What we've done to help consumers with this is ring-fence the money that is earmarked for investment, so it can only be spent on what it should be spent on, and that's upgrading the broken water infrastructure. Reeves again ruled out nationalising the water companies. The failure isn't linked to ownership. Yes, it is! Yes, it is! This is... Of course it is! I've never heard anything so bloody stupid. Of course it's linked to ownership. What do you think? Who do you think makes the... Oh, it's not the owner's fault. It's not the owners of these water companies that we discharge so much sewage. It's not their fault that the infrastructure in England and Wales has not been improved. It's not the owner's fault. It's linked to regulation and governance, he said, adding that it was not fair to ask taxpayers to pay for the failure of water companies. He said it would also take too long. We're going to be pragmatic about this and take the route that will resolve the problem the fastest and cost consumers the least, he said. Cost the least by raising the prices. There would have been warnings that even the increase proposed in the summer would leave millions of households in England and Wales facing real financial problems. Those proposals will lead to bills increasing by £19 on average each year between 2025 and 2030. A survey of 9,500 households by the Consumer Council for Water found that 18% said they were already struggling with their bills and 40% said they will struggle to afford the increases. That means less showers, less baths for people. It means less turning on your tap, as if it's not already hard enough for people. As if it's not already difficult enough. People, you need to understand, okay? Like, paying your council tax is supposed to be is important. Paying your electric bill is important. Paying your mortgage or your rent. These bills are obviously important and they need to be paid. But we're talking about something that you need. Something that keeps you alive, which is water. It is a fundamental thing that everybody needs. It is something that you need. You can't not have water. And we don't have it in our hands. It's in the hands of private companies. I just cannot understand why we cannot take these companies and bring them back into government ownership. It is so blatantly obvious that it can be done. And it is a political choice by the Labour government not to nationalise them. And it's so infuriating that he's sitting there and allowing water bills to go up again. We'll find out on Thursday what they're going to go up to, but it's just absolutely unfair. Just when everyone thought we could get rid of the shites, we get even more useless idiots. Yeah, I have to say on this is absolutely true, Akismab. That's exactly what we've done to homes 10 years later. Mold. Yeah, you don't let a situation fold. You deal with it. But the problem is we've had one of the worst political parties in 14 years absolutely trash everything. And rather than actually do something about it, Labour, they can easily respond to this a lot quicker, but they've done nothing. Water companies are losing more water in leaks than supplying to people that will need to look up the figures, but it's bad. Yeah, that's another point that, as the kids pointed out there, about the leakage in pipes and whatnot. So a lot of water is just literally just being thrown away. Capitalist economic oppression CEO, says Ginny Bowl. Yeah. Indeed. So, once a great public ownership, which was our water. We go to one that is taken over by Czech billionaire, Royal Mail. So Royal Mail takeover by Czech billionaire Daniel Křetínský has been approved. I hope I pronounced his surname right. The UK government is to retain the golden share in parent company International Distribution Service. So what does this mean? This means that our Royal Mail will suffer the wrath of cuts. They will try to mitigate this billionaire, and that's like every other billionaire. They will try to milk it for as much money as they possibly can, because that's what they're going to do. And the thing is that the government cannot afford to let Royal Mail fall, because people will need to get their bills, people need their letters, people need those. It's still fundamental. Not everything can be done by email. You know, people still need that service. So it can't afford to fall. Do I approve of this takeover? Hell no. Do I think it's justified to have Royal Mail privately owned? No. Am I glad at least that the UK government still has shares in it? Yes. But this is not. Don't consider this in any way a good thing. Royal Mail will be gone in about 5 years and split up and sold off again. We need. I don't know if that's going to happen as to Keir. One thing I do know is that no matter what, we have to. There has to be a service. There has to be a service. Now the service could be reduced, and I expect it to be reduced, but there has to be a service because people still need letters. People still need them. You know, if you need your bank statements or letter of proof of documents or whatnot, people still need that. Not everything can all be done by email still. We still need to have that service of letters. We still need to have it. Will it be reduced? Yeah, I could expect it to be reduced. But it's still something that people still need. It is something that we need to have. And if it ever stops working, there will be a lot of angry people. And not just the public, businesses as well, banks, everyone will be upset. Everyone's going to get very angry if they are not getting a very important email, a very important letter, or whatever it might be. We need to have a functioning system. So yeah, they cannot. No government can afford to allow it. Yeah, you'll just get too much anger from the public. You know, people will kick off. People will kick off if they stop running. If people stop getting letters, yeah, people will turn their anger towards the government. So, the sale of Royal Mail's parent company to Czech billionaire Daniel Křetínský has been approved by the UK government after a review under national security laws. The £3.6 billion takeover of International Distribution Service, IDS, the owner of the 508-year-old Royal Mail by Křetínský EP Group, was confirmed on Monday morning. It will be the first time it has been controlled by an overseas owner in its history, which can be traced back as far back as 1516 under Henry VIII. That's absolutely insane. Chris Fisher, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. The government will retain a golden share in IDS, which means any changes to Royal Mail's ownership, tax residency or headquarters will need its assent. The Royal Mail brand will also be protected for as long as EP owns the company. Yeah, the government must keep a grip of Royal Mail. That's very, very important. The board of IDS agreed to take over in May after rejecting initial approaches at a lower price. EP Group agreed to a series of undertakings to persuade the government to let the deal through. They include retaining the universal service obligation for a first-class postal service to anywhere in the country for a fixed price 6 days a week, while Křetínský is still in control. Okay, that's still good. A stronger commitment than the previous 5-year pledge. Well, they're promising fixed 6 days a week still. The government has also blocked Royal Mail from making divergence or similar payments to its owners unless the company meets its financial targets, and has improved its postal delivery performance. Dividends and asset sales will also be blocked if they put the universal service at risk. So there are some stumbling blocks. IDS has suggested second-class post could be reduced to every other weekday. Keith Williams, a non-executive chair of IDS, said the deal's approval was an important milestone. The call for urgent reform of the universal service and the continued transformation of this great British business. Dame Malene Doles, a chief executive of the regulator Ofcom, told BBC Breakfast on Monday that the company has a lot of changes that need to make because of the decline in letter volumes, and said the watchdog would make proposals for the future of the postal service next year. There is a decline in letter volumes, I agree, but we still need to have it. It still needs to function. Other undertakings include keeping the Royal Mail headquarters and tax residency in the UK for 5 years, and maintaining base salaries and benefits for staff for at least 2 years. Do not take Royal Mail headquarters out of the UK. Do not do that. Křetínský said EP Group is a long-term and committed investor with a mission to make Royal Mail a successful modern postal operator. The business secretary, Jonathan Reynolds, said talks with EP and Křetínský have been constructive. I look forward to working with them to fix the foundations. and ensure Royal Mail continues to deliver for the communities and business who it rely on the most, he said. Fix the foundations, yeah. We hear that quite a lot, don't we? The takeover was called for review in August on the grounds of national security because Royal Mail's letter delivery still plays a critical, a bit diminishing role in the country's communication infrastructure. UK owns golden shares in companies that are regarded as crucial to its security, including the weapons manufacturer BAE Systems and Rolls-Royce. Approval of the deal, which values IDS at $5.3 billion, including debt, will be seen as a triumph for a businessman who, despite his reputation as a low-profile Czech sinks, has shown a clear interest in snapping up British assets. Alongside EP's main business running in coal, gas, and power generation. Oh, coal, gas, and power generation. Oh, yeah, he's definitely someone for green energy. Křetínský owns 27% of West Ham United Football Club and 10% of Sainsbury's supermarket chain. He'll be buying West Ham United too. Well, he's already got 27%. The deal, which is expected to be completed in the first quarter of 2025, will probably prompt further scrutiny of Křetínský's business dealings, particularly in Russia. EP Group holds a stakeholder in Slovakian gas pipeline that continues to pump Russian gas to Europe. Oh my God. How is that not a conflict of fucking interest? The Guardian reported that Křetínský held talks with Alexei Miller, the head of Russia's state-owned gas company Gazprom, and a close ally of Vladimir Putin. And you still approved the deal. Just... EP Group is also part-owned by Patrick Tykes. In June, The Guardian revealed that Tykes and J&T Banknote is embroiled in a court case over a $6 million loan it provided to the former Premier of Tusk and Cusco Islands, Michael Misk, who is facing corruption prosecution. J&D denied any wrongdoing to Guardian at the time. EP Group said on Monday it had reached a deal with the Communications Workers Union and Unite over the terms for workers and managers at Royal Mail. David Ward, the CWU General Secretary, said the unions wanted public ownership, but they had to be realistic and work with Křetínský in a sign of a deep discord between workers and Royal Mail management. Ward said the Czech offered better prospects than the Royal Mail board, which he accused of giving up. The way forward is to get investment in this business, diversity revenue, he said, adding that the government cannot sit on the sidelines going forward because of its involvement in the negotiations. 1 second, let me just fix my chat. I hate when it goes on top chat. In the 1980s, Thatcher's 800 million profits were stripped from the Royal Mail, so they could not invest in the new post office sorting machines like they did in Germany. My Deutsche Post Office sold off to the DHL. Good to see you, QA Library. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Checks the hammer and skill, says Genie Potter. Indeed, indeed. Westmonger governments don't give a fig about UK people and all its money now. Definitely comes across that way. Had a friend who worked quite high up in Royal Mail, worth about $7 billion of all its assets and properties, says Ben Shaw. Well, yeah, it's something that cannot afford to fall. You know, it's something that could potentially break up, but it's a system that we cannot afford to to fall. We need this system to be looked after. Isn't America's postal service state-owned? Is owned by the government? Correct me if I'm wrong on that. All this capitalism is destroying us. Absolutely destroying us. I saw a tweet today where someone said that, I think it was like back in 1950s, something like that, when England, the UK and Norway, both had debt-free, both were in very good, I think it's 1950s or 60s. And then they tweeted a contrast now where Norway have still got bags of money still sitting in their reserves, and the UK sold off all its assets when it's still in massive amounts of debt. And it's just saying, how did we allow this to happen? It's just absolutely awful. US Federal Mail Service. So it is owned by the government. See, they've got to get this protected, state owned. Would I wonder would they ever sell their postal service? Would they ever sell it? I don't know. I don't think they would. But it's just absolutely insane. No, it's really important that that Royal Mail's looked after. But yeah, it should be nationalised. It should be in the hands of the state, you know. But nope, they want to, you know. It part of me does feel like it was like given to a mate, because you know Jonathan Reynolds and business dealings and whatnot. It just feels that way to me, guys. So this next story is a very interesting one, and I do have some questions over it. So this one's from Sky News. Some local elections could be delayed by up to a year, says Angela Rayner. So Labour vowed to give local areas greater powers, which could involve merging and closing some local councils, meaning elections will not go ahead while the reorganisation takes place. This is very interesting. So is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Well, we do know that there is going to be some fundamental changes to systems. But is it right that some of these elections not be taking place because they're doing reorganization? Is that right? Part of me feels like it does feel a little bit dodgy. It does come across to me a little bit dodgy that some local elections are going to be delayed, because it kind of feels like to me that this may this may benefit. They may try to use this to benefit them somehow, Labour. It feels a bit odd. Like, can we not do these when there's not local elections taking place? Is it possible to do it in between? That's my question. So let me read a bit more into this. So, local elections could be delayed for up to a year for councils that are being overhauled, Angela Rayner has said. So the Deputy Prime Minister said the admission, while ousting the government's devolution plans, will see some smaller district councils combined to bigger strategic authorities with more sway over their areas. So earlier in the day, Housing Minister Jim McMahon said some local elections may not go ahead next year for those who have chosen to merge. So asked whether some elections could be delayed, Ms Rayner told reporters, "We're asking people to come forward as quickly as possible, and if they're near enough to the deal and they say, well, you know, we just need a few more months, then we can put that system in place. If they come to us and they say that's where we're at, then we may look at postponing. It wouldn't be for longer than a couple of months a year." Labour's manifesto promises to deepen and widen devolution, with more areas expected to take on the mayoral combined authority, the CA model, like that headed by Sadiq Khan in Greater London. Local elections are held every year in May, but Mr McMahon told LBC that some councils essentially won't exist if they make a request for reorganisation under the devolution proposals. At the moment, the assumption is that elections are going ahead, he said. However, it's unusual for a process of reorganisation that when a council makes a request for reorganisation, that if there are elections taking place to a council that essentially won't exist within the terms of those elections, then you would hold off the elections and you would elect to a shadow body. And the shadow body basically is the form of the new council that will follow. Well, if there's not going to be that body anymore, if their plans are to not have that body anymore, then there's no need for that election then. There is no need for that election if they're getting rid of that body. But I'm just wondering, is this the right thing to do? Are we doing the right thing here is the question. Some local authorities have already requested reorganisation, he added, saying there will be a statutory consultation before any changes are made. That's right, that's good, at least. Asked if some local authorities would be closed or merged, Mr McMahon said, "That's the nature of reorganisation. Some are better separated than put together, I will say. I do think that some are best staying than they're put, but I feel a part of me feels like that some of these mergers are just done in terms of cost cutting more than anything. Norway didn't win the war though, and didn't give generations of people a sense of deluded entitlement and ignorance. That's true. That is true. They have a very different educational, cultural, and growing up background in there. Leaders like here across Europe are clinging to power and deeply unpopular for wrecking their country's national interest for American interest. Monster Ball, do you even watch politics? I wouldn't go that far just yet. I wouldn't go that far just yet. I think it's a bit early to make those assumptions. There are 12 areas of England under the CA model headed by regional metro mayors. These mayors include Andy Burnham in Greater Manchester, have more powers than leaders or mayors of local councils. Speaking later to Good Morning Britain, he said merging councils could bring £2 billion in efficiency savings. There are only 21 countries with a two-tier system of local governments, meaning there is a district of county councils and lots of people who don't know which councils to go to. This is about simplifying the system so that the accountability is strong, but it's not diminishing the work that district councils and county councils have done in the past, he said. In her speech from Leeds today, Rayner vows to push power out of Whitehall and into the hands of people with skin in the game across a wide range of policy areas, including housing. One of the central missions of the new Labour government is to build 1.5 million homes by the end of this parliament, with local councils last week told to come up with immediate mandatory housing targets with part of the plan. Well, fortunately for you, Monsters Ball, there's two chats here. There's you on your own there on the Twitch chat, and there's up to 14 people on the YouTube chat. So, sorry if you think I'm talking to myself. Sorry to let you down, I'm afraid. That's to save the Labour candidate REGANELITE is fuggling the system, in my opinion, says Keir. You can't vote Uni Party and expect change at all, says Chris Fisher. We are in the grips of extreme capitalism. I argue that CEOs are essentially medieval lords. Please, anyone explain the difference to me? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. If you hear any coughing or whatnot in the background, don't worry. That person's all right. He's just got he's not as bad as it sounds. Ms. Rayner, who is also the Housing Secretary, is expected to say that bringing together strategic authorities would help to avoid duplication and give our cities and region a bigger voice in order to get spades in the ground. This is not true. This is not true. It's not duplicate authorities. Yeah, there's different departments for different. It's different authorities for different things. That's not the case. This is all about cost cutting and saving money. That's what this is all about. However, the Local Government Association, the membership body for authorities in England and Wales, warned devolution was not an end in itself and cannot distract from the severe funding pressures that are pushing local services to the brink. Despite the plans for a shake-up of councils, Ms. Rayner said she did not think district councils were blockers to economic growth. I don't think district councils are blockers, she said. That's not what I'm trying to achieve. What I'm trying to achieve is scale, working with people, so looking at how we can have a place-based approach. Because in areas in towns and rural areas in different parts of the world, you don't stop at the council border. The government, as for a devolution proposal, will be set out in a white paper due to be published in Parliament later today. So more of this will come out over time, but yeah, so some of the basic local council elections are going to disappear because they're going to merge some of them into one. Some people may see this as a good thing, you know, more working together, more closer cooperation, rather than having different bodies, merging some bodies in together. This is all a means to save money. This is all about saving money. This isn't about improving efficiency. This is what they're using. They're using that term, efficiencies, as a means to smokescreen the needs of trying to save money, cost cutting, as well as obviously of having less, because obviously all these elections as well, they also cost money to do as well. So you have even less of these elections as well. So they even save money in those regards as well. But are they going to be doing the same amount? Are they going to be able to do the same amount of work on the same levels that they used to when they're in merged bodies as opposed to separate bodies like they used to be? I'm not so sure about that. I definitely do think that this is a cost cutting exercise. This just feels like to me a cost cutting exercise. Basically austerity, stealth austerity, maybe you could call it as well, for these councils, because that's how it appears across to me. So guys, we've got 3 more articles to go through here. I've got one funny video in between just to go, kind of in between before we go to 3 more articles here. This one I've got for you guys is on Twitter. I hope you guys enjoyed this one here.
Guess who's back? Back again. Trump is back. Tell a friend.
Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Shut up. Room service, I'd like to order a little juice pack and maybe a McDonald's Happy Meal with a toy. Thank you. First things first, this desk is so hideous. Can we get it made of gold?
I'll look into it.
That is a great idea, sir. I wanted to discuss your cabinet picks.
How many carats for the gold desk, sir?
24! And I also want to build a water slide. Maybe we do a water slide. We could be slipping and sliding like penguins.
That is a fantastic idea, sir. You have the best ideas, and you're also physically very attractive. I did want to discuss your cabinet picks if we could, sir.
The Secretary of Defense will be the Incredible Hulk. The Secretary of Energy, Pikachu.
Formidable picks, sir. I'm a trifle concerned about their confirmation.
Shut up, Vance. You love couches. I know what you did at Ashley Furniture, patio.com. We know what you did to all those couches, Vance. All those innocent couches. They didn't want you to sit on them. But you did. Anyway.
Oh dear, oh dear. I gotta say, yeah, the actor for JD Vance is like, oh dear, guys. Oh, I know. I saw that one after. I thought it was a funny one, but I hope you guys got a laugh out of that as well. So just before I go to the next articles, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated, and share this across social media so others are notified of this live stream. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. You can also leave a super chat as well. That financially supports me in the work that I do, and that would be greatly appreciated. We'll guarantee to get read out if you do leave a super chat as well. Other ways, if you want to financially support me, is by buying me a coffee or joining on Patreon. Links for all of them are under the links tree in the description down below. But if you can't afford that financial support me, hitting the like button, sharing, subscribing, commenting on my videos, all those things helps boost the algorithm for my channel on any of my videos. So if you do any of those things, thank you very much for doing so. I really do appreciate your support. Mr. E, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Chris Fisher on the previous story. It's a two-tier system where the company or the organization or the corporation decides its profitability is more important than its service, and it's under monopolies that can succeed. Thanks for that, Chris. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, capitalism is always about one thing and one thing only, and that is money. And always driven by money. Let me make sure I've got the right threading on. So this story, I'm sure you might have you might have heard this story already because it's dropped today. So this one from the Independent. The EU sues the UK over post-Brexit freedom of movement failures in a blow to Starmer's reset. The European Commission referenced the UK to the Court of Justice over the EU's shortcomings in how it has cooperated with the post-Brexit withdrawal agreement. Unfortunately, like this whole cozying up to the EU, trying to build gaps and all that kind of thing, well, we still haven't kind of implemented our end of the deal since Boris Johnson's Brexit deal. And yeah, I mean, even with all the cozying up, guys, unfortunately, this was going to come. You know, at the end of the day, we signed a deal and we're supposed to be implemented it, and we have not implemented it. And that's why we're in this situation. But the problem is, if we implement this deal, we are going to really hurt our economy if we put in the full use. So either way, we were going to pay on this, unfortunately. So the European Commission is taking Britain to court over its alleged failure to comply with EU law on freedom of movement after Brexit. In a blow to secure Starmer's efforts to reset relations with the blog, the Commission referred to the UK to the Court of Justice of the European Union over shortcomings in how it is cooperated with the post-Brexit withdrawal agreement. It alleges several shortcomings in how Britain has stuck to the Treaty of the Functioning of the European Union, affecting residents' right to live and work freely between EU member states. It says Britain has failed to heed a series of warnings that its national laws do not comply with EU free movement laws at the end of 2020. The Commission's complaint originated in May 2020, when it accused the UK of restricting free movement rights of EU citizens and their family members. It sent a formal notice of the complaint to the UK at the time, and in July this year it said several points remain unaddressed, highlighting particular matters around the EU citizens and their family members exercising their free movement rights. Yeah, because we signed, yeah, it is, yeah, we do have to use the term alleged. There was obviously, you know, we agreed that many EU citizens that were already here and established in the UK, it would just be the status quo for them, continuing what they're doing. But it's not always been that for most EU citizens. Some of them have left the EU after, with documents and everything that they've had to sign. I think, what was the there was one of those forms. There was like an EU form that they had to fit. There was a form that they had to fill out, EU citizens, while they were living in the while they were here in the UK, that they had to fill out before a deadline. And some of them filled it all in and it was all done. But when they left the UK and come back in, it wasn't. They still couldn't get back in, or there were complications, if I recall. And on Monday, the Commission said it had carefully assessed the UK's replies to its complaints, but maintains that several elements of the grievance remain unaddressed, including on the rights of workers and the rights of extended family members. UK's referral to the blog's top courts comes as a blow for Zakir as he desperately bids for closer ties with the EU. The PM has spent much of the first 6 months in office courting European leaders in a bid to strike a new deal with the EU that would cut red tape and has stifled growth since Brexit. It also comes after it emerges that Brussels is preparing to ask the UK to follow EU laws for the first time since Brexit as part of its plans for a new deal with the UK. So while Zakir has repeatedly insisted the UK will not rejoin the single market within its lifetime, he has pledged to make Brexit work by renegotiating the deal agreed upon by Boris Johnson and pursuing closer cooperation, particularly on defence, security and trade. His blueprint for European negotiations, looking at the trade deal seen by the Times, indicates that EU leaders are planning to make UK acceptance of the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice a red line for the improved trading relationship. The document also reportedly sets out British concessions on fishing and a youth mobility scheme as key priorities for the EU. Yeah, because we have to give concessions because that's what Boris Johnson signed. The document is expected to be presented to the Council of European Ministers next week, ahead of the start of formal talks between the UK and the EU, which will begin early next year. So Keir Starmer and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen have agreed to hold regular EU-UK leader summits, with the first set to take place in early 2025. The UK government was asked for comment. This was quite early, so it's entirely possible they may have responded by the time. This article was a bit earlier today in comparison to other ones, so it's entirely possible they may have already responded to it. But yeah, unfortunately, the EU allegedly is basically concerned about the well-being of its citizens in the UK, rightly or wrongly, those in the run-up to Brexit. The agreements, some of those agreements that were put in place, and some of them have not been fulfilled. So this isn't specifically on trade, it's about EU citizens, and their rights have been affected by this. Those who have been working and living in the UK, passing through. Clearly, there's been an issue here, and the UK and the government at the time, the Conservatives, obviously didn't give a crap because they didn't want to deal with it, and obviously Labour haven't really, either they haven't been paying attention or they've just been elsewhere, and now they've got to deal with this problem basically. Hello, number 3. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I was being ironic. The only reason it is alleged because it has to go through the proper authorities. I mean, it does have to go through proper authorities, absolutely. JD loves a plumped up soft furniture lounge, says Genie Bottle. Yes. The English hypo of being the great nation is 100 years out of date. It's lame, says Chris Fisher. It is lame indeed. And Reeves comes to the EU telling us all about red lines. I am near the beach in Portugal and I can listen to the laughter in Brussels. I don't know how to respond to that comment. Don't really know how to respond to that. The next story I've got for you guys is an interesting one from the Financial Times. So the UK creative sector is seek copyright protection from AI companies. So a coalition of publishers, authors, and musicians says it wants to be paid fairly and retain control of its work. And, well, it's very easy nowadays to steal other people's content, manipulate other people's content with the power and the use of artificial intelligence now, especially with some of the programs out there. It's actually very, if you learn and understand artificial intelligence, you can make a killing of money off the use of artificial intelligence anyway. It's just a case if you put the time and effort into learning and understanding some of these programs. And if you're willing to pay a bit into them, you could end up finding them being useful to you, especially if you're creating stories, text message or whatever, and then sharing them on social media and whatnot, and building a platform. For example, you could build a platform off the back of artificial intelligence, like say for instance building off the back of storylines or novels that you could create using artificial intelligence and using some concepts of them. And then what you could do is you could put it into a Substack and then put that out there on Substack, and if it keeps continuing to do well, then you could start making some money off it for it potentially. Same with AI, certain AI pictures and art or videos and whatnot. There are the possibilities of generating money for yourself with the power of AI is endless. But what it also does is it takes away from proper creators that don't use them. Those who are genuine creators without the use of them, and there is this fear that people will duplicate or intimidate musicians, authors, and whatnot with the use of AI, and their protections are without a doubt under threat. Rightly so. So this is definitely an issue for sure. And it won't be just the UK, but here's the thing, right? Here is the other thing as well: is that every other country will have this issue, but most of them will have plans to deal with that anyway. Audio is so low I could barely hear it. Well, no one else has said anything in the YouTube chat, so it might be your volume. Never forget, brother. Otherwise, people would have said in the chat. I mean, I'll pull it closer to me if that helps, but no one else has said anything about the audio. It's sometimes offering to have lunch at your house, and you're also cooking and you are also cooking and paying for it. That's you offer someone over. Yeah, you offer someone over. Yeah, at least bring a bottle of wine. And yeah, indeed. Right, so let's read a bit more into this, you guys. So almost 40 British creative groups spanning publishers, authors and photographers have urged the government to protect copyright rules of more than £100 billion a year industry ahead of the controversial constitution. The Creative Rights in AI Coalition said a licensing market for the use of creative content in building generated AI was needed, not just for fairness, but also for the way that both sectors will flourish and grow. The newly formed group wants the government to adopt basic principles as a framework for developing AI policy, including a licensing market with protections for copyright and ensuring that content creators have control of their work and are able to monitor how it is used. The government is due to launch a consultation into AI and creative industries on Tuesday. The topic has become controversial because of concerns that AI companies have already reproducing much of the UK's creative output without payment or attribution. In a statement to the Financial Times, the coalition said the UK creative industry generates well over 100 billion annually. We have quite literally earned the right to have our voice heard. The key to that success and future growth is copyright law. Creation of the coalition reflects concerns that the industry has not been aligned in its approach with government over rules that will have huge implications on the work done by British authors, musicians, journalists and filmmakers. Organisations that have joined the coalition include the Daily Fail owner, DMG, PRSV Music, the News Media Association, the Publishers Association, Association Press, Society of Editors, Pan McMahon, and the British Phonographic Industry. The Financial Times is also a member. Texting and data mining by generated AI systems involve the automatic crawling and analyze large parts of the internet and is critical to AI development. But executives are concerned that the government will consult on rules that will make it difficult to copyright holders to strike deals over their work with AI companies. Many in the industry accuse AI companies of already having scrapped their content use for training purposes. An attempt to create a voluntary code of conduct failed this year, with both sides unable to agree on a position. The Culture Secretary Lisa Andy last week told a select committee of MPs that the government wanted to get the balance right between encouraging technological advances and protecting the rights of creative industry. New public polling from Reset Tech and YouGov showed that the public overwhelmingly backs transparency in the training of AI models and the payment of royalties to content creators by tech firms. Yeah, it definitely there definitely needs to be protections of content creators is very, very important. You know, one of the reasons why I put myself on camera for the content that I do is so that people don't steal my content, because it's very easy for someone without a camera to have their content stolen on YouTube. That's why I put that's one of the reasons why I put myself on camera, to say that this is me. You're gonna have to literally steal my identity to do so. But the problem is I'm prescribed across multiple social medias and multiple accounts. It's not all in one. I'm not all in one basket. I'm all over the place, sort of thing. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I actually have a camera. Is not just to have my face on there. This mug. It's actually this is one of the reasons why I actually started why I have a camera. Is to protect my content by putting literally my face on it. Makes it harder for people to claim that is someone else, for people to claim that the content that people claim something that's doing now. That's the thing. It was more originally for that, but now it's like I'm more comfortable on the camera. But when I was first starting, that was the thing that was in the back of my mind about people stealing your content. But obviously we're talking about something, well, it is the same concepts of other things like musicians, artists and whatnot. Like AI generated music. I mean, that seems so weird. It's just something that just crossed my mind just now. But it can really, you know, a lot of these industries are really under threat from artificial intelligence if they're not done right. But I really do hope that they protect these industries. I really do hope they protect the industries. Well, I'm all for AI and technology, you know, progressing. I just want to make sure that the industries that we have are protected. But I'm not holding my breath that they're doing enough for them, if I'm honest. Oh, thanks, Chris Fisher. Appreciate it. Playing in the copyright law needs overhauling, says number 3. Yeah, a lot of things seems to need overhauling. That's for sure. What's not fine is the English superior's attitude, says Chris Fisher. Yeah. Yeah, and do check out number 3's YouTube channel, as the kids just provided a link in the description. Audio's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if my audio wasn't all right, it would be a problem. That's for sure. Right. So got one more story for you guys. This is a report from Barline Times. So this is the Deepfake election. How disinformation could swing the 2029 general election. So the next UK election could see the perfect storm for political line. The head of fact-checking organisation Full Fact tells Barline Times. So at the last general election, I think we had 2 deepfakes. I think is what we had, or maybe 3. So there was one by Sadiq Khan, if you guys recall. There was one deepfake audio by Keir Starmer, claiming that he said something as well. Your background chatter makes it look like AI. Yeah, it's because of the green screen is what it is. I've tried, Chris. I've tried to. It can't be clean. It can't be clean. I'm afraid. I just can't make it clean. That's the only downside to it. But yeah, it does. It's not ideal, if I'm honest. But we did have some like fake audios that people tried to use, and it didn't really have an effect. I think even when you I was expecting quite a huge swathe of it coming into the US presidential election, but we didn't have that there either. I don't think we've had an election where there's been a huge amount of deep fakes, like someone really trying to flood it. But at some point, there's going to be at some point, there's going to be, there's going to be more deep fakes. Of course, disinformation is always going to be there. We know that disinformation is going there. Hell, disinformation is the reason why. It's one of the reasons why Donald Trump won the goddamn election, because he's promising everything and he's going to deliver nothing. But here's the thing: like, what can the government do to stop this? I suppose just regulation, more regulation. When it comes to deepfakes, like higher crimes and that. But what if the person responsible for doing it is somewhere outside the UK? What if they're living in another country? What then? Do we chase after that person? That's the thing. It's the BS. It's the BS. Make it a real studio, i.e. a bedroom for, but real. No need for the AI background. No, I've always liked the AI background. I'm not gonna have the old background like I used to do, Chris Fisher. I appreciate it. I like having the snowflake background sort of thing. I've got new backgrounds for the new year anyway. Yeah. But the jagged edges of the thing make it naff. Yeah, it's because of the camera. It's because of the camera. I might tinker with it in the new year, maybe. Jao says, I'm starting more professional videos, but no AI backgrounds, just me and a real background, says Jao. Education is number 3. Yep, education is the key to everything. Education is always the fundamental thing for everything, says number 3. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, there needs to be stronger laws, stronger things to just protect ourselves, protect elections. Well, the integrity of the election, I suppose. I mean, I know the system that the electoral system we have is, we know it's not suitable, but in terms of rigging is very near to next to impossible. It's not the same like America. But yeah, let's have a read into it. Oh, so my missus just messaged me about something. Oh. A lie can travel halfway around the world, while the truth is still putting on its shoes. So the old adage goes, with one that rings truer than ever in the age of social media misinformation. That is so true. There's also this saying that if you tell a lie enough times, it turns out to be the truth as well. The quote is often attributed to Mark Twain and Winston Churchill and Thomas Jefferson. Fitting then that it wasn't any of them, but most likely the satirist Jonathan Swift. The problem it highlights, however, is the bread and butter of UK-based fact-checking organisation Full Fact. And their workload is only increasing now. The generative artificial intelligence tools are making misinformation easier to create on a mass scale than ever before. We're at a critical moment, the non-profit group CEO Chris Morris tells me. We're only 15 years into what is possibly a 100-year information revolution, and goodness knows where it's going to end up. And it coincides with the apparent decline of traditional broadcaster status, like the BBC, as a single hegemonic source of trustworthy information that has risks and opportunities. It's good that we're not in an era of deferral news, where the BBC and other handed down truths like tablets from the mountain. We don't want that. Skepticism is good. The problem is the plutonium has swung to the other extreme, where you've got a million narratives on social media, Morris says, including mine, because I'm another narrative. You know, there's so many narratives, so many views now. It's just insane. No, it's fine, Joe. Chris Fisher is rightfully just pointing out. Chris wants to help out, and he's just giving his views, which is just all it is. You know, I totally get where he's coming from. Nor are the public talking politicians' word at face value. Trust in politics has hit crisis levels, with only 80% of the public having at least fair amount of trust in the ability of MPs to tell the truth, compared to 76% of Britons who doubt their honesty, according to YouGov research this September. Latest Ipsos Moli Vosky Index also shows politicians remain at the bottom of the pile. Only 11% of people in the UK believe they can trust politicians to tell the truth, up from last year from the worst ever 9%. Morris describes the clear findings as appalling. In a wide-ranging interview with Byline Times, the former BBC journalist argues that we are merely 15 years into what is probably a 100-year information revolution, with major implications for truth and democracy. And while predictions that artificial intelligence would destroy your credibility with our elections 2024 haven't materialised in the UK, not that's the case elsewhere. Morris points to Romania and the Russian influence exerted online, which caused the constitutional count to annul their latest presidential election this month. In Moldova, TikTok was flooded with anti-Europe disinformation before the EU referendum on 20th of October. Moldovan President Paul Eliska noted, election officials are fighting back, but it could be a taste of what's to come. Did the UK have a lucky escape this July? Yes, they did. Yeah, they did. You can just, like, just imagine, like, Elon Musk, like, he doesn't need to pump money directly into Reform UK to help them win. He just needs to pump enough money into social media, into Twitter, and if he can, and you know, if enough people put out enough disinformation, misinformation on social media, people will buy into it. It doesn't have to be X. Like, they can just put it in other places. I don't know about epileptic warning. I don't think it's that bad. But I will look at it, Chris. I do appreciate it. The threat is where one reason it didn't happen in the UK is that you're running a bot farm in St. Petersburg. When Party said a few weeks before the election, we know we've lost. There's not much point in interfering, Morris says. The jury is still out on how much mis and disinformation influenced the recent US election, he adds. Their electoral system vulnerabilities, when it comes down to tens of thousands of people in various states, make it right for potential foul play. UK's first past the post-electoral system also by this reason makes election meddling through fake news particularly appealing if it can be targeted to a handful of highly significant swing seats in the future. Closer elections than we saw this summer. Deepfake technology, AI-generated video and audio of real people or politicians and doing insane things they have not said or done. It's also rapidly advancing. I mean, prime example was, of course, the Minecraft server where you saw Keir Starmer, Rishi Sunak, Kemi Bakkanot, Donald Trump. You saw those deep AI Minecraft videos that I've shared with you guys. You know, although we can tell they're fake, it's very easy. It's pretty good fakes. You know, and it's not that hard to make a fake of them, really. I asked my head of AI where we'll be with technology and generate AI in 3 years, and he said it's hard to tell even 3 or 4 months ahead. The fact-checking chief expresses particular concern about older people's vulnerability to misinformation, arguing that education to developing critical thinking skills need to be rapidly expanded across all age groups. He revealed that sorry, losing my words here. He reveals that when Full Fat conducted focus groups on misinformation last summer, it wasn't election misinformation that came up as top concern, but financial scams targeting elderly relatives. Elderly people are still being scammed by relatives. I know they're still being are. Yeah. Yeah, if Mad Monk is in the chat and wants to put a link to that Discord server, Aki's Mad, if you want to let him know, he's more than welcome to do that. I think it's 10 o'clock they do their one. Morris also criticised the UK's new Online Safety Act for leaving Ofcom largely powerless to tackle the vast majority of misinformation, which falls into the category of legal but harmful content. Conservative politicians scupper efforts for the bill to cover a wider range of misinformation when it's going through Parliament in 2023. Despite that, Morris argues that election politicians are better suited to regulating online disinformation rather than executives in California or Beijing, who run the vast tech firms so much of our information ecosystem relies on. The question of whether these politicians tell the truth is fraught. Voters can remove their MPs at elections, but Parliament should think harder about taking collective responsibility for MPs who consistently mislead people, Morris says. It's difficult because they must decide who the judge and jury, who could be done through the committee system, a more transparent process of accountability, particularly for the statement in the House, but also on social media, might make people less senile about politics. That's the term might. And when it comes to the idea of criminalising lying in politics, though, Morris takes a different attack. The Welsh Parliament seat is currently weighing up whether to criminalise lying in politics, perhaps a limitless test of similar moves elsewhere in the UK in the future. We have misgivings about this. Who decides? We don't think courts should rule on politics. Criminalising lying is a major step, but surely there's a middle ground where parliaments themselves, Westminster, Welsh Parliament, Scottish Parliament, have clearer, transparent processes for maintaining standards. The deterioration of trust extends beyond politics, with Morris highlighting the collapse of the local journalism traditional business model as particularly worrying, given that people tend to trust local news more than national outlets. He criticises the national media obsession with personalities and tendency to attack politicians for changing their minds. Britain's media is barely more trusted than our politicians. However, there's another reason why the era outlets handling truth down the table from a mountain has ended, rightly in Morris's view. Well, when you give Laura Cranesburg an award for like one of the most outstanding, like they gave her an award, media journalist award or something this year, and I was like, what did she do apart from curl up to the Conservatives all the bloody time? Like it's just insane. Just shows you just how out of touch the mainstream media really are with people these days. The role and impact of fact checkers have been fiercely displayed in recent years. Of all the fact checking of Donald Trump's falsehoods and lies, he still won. And a range of recent studies have shown that even when people see fake news has been retracted, the original misinformation can still influence their attitudes and belief in what is called the continuing influence effect. Yeah, because once you put a story out there, whether it's fake or not fake, the story is already out there. So even if you retract that story, it's already having a ripple effect. It's like it's no different of throwing a stone into a pond. Yeah. You can take the stone back out of the pond, but the ripples from that stone are still going. You can't stop those ripples once you've thrown it in. The damage is already done. Worse yet, people may come to believe in misinformation even more strongly post-correction. In particular, retractions that run into counter to individual prior attitudes may bolster beliefs in original misinformation in what is known as a world of view backfire effect. Analysis from Cambridge University Press, Social Media and Democracy found in 2020. But Morris insists that fact-checking is having an impact. He argues that their partnership, flagging and leading posts through Facebook owner Meta, generally seems to work. He encourages critical thinking rather than mindless sharing. The group's relationship with Elon Musk owner X Twitter is far more fraught. It seems, Morris says that social media giants' large engagement with his fact-checkers was probably a poo emoji, the stock's response, at least for a while, of X's media inbox after he sacked the vast majority of the company's workforce on taking over in 2022. And there is no doubt that to properly get to grips with misinformation, tech platforms need to share more data about how false information spreads, something they will likely have to be forced to do given how it might expose their black box algorithm and secretive business models. Yeah, but they don't want to do that. Social media companies have too much influence on politicians, on public. While they might agree that the dangers associated with Musk's ownership of X, officials in Keir Starmer's government are likely to be following Full Fact's latest project with a more cautious eye. Full Fact has launched a new online tracker of whether the government is meeting its manifesto pledges. It's a new initiative which would have been helpful in the past 14 years of Conservative government that sometimes has a creative approach to the truth. But it's an initiative of Morris, who moved from the BBC around a year ago. It's important for people who don't follow politics daily. Most people all the time have somewhere they can check specific subjects that they're interested in. What's the government saying? How closely others are fulfilling their promises? Yeah, because we are like head deep into politics. We're always keeping in the loop. But there's always those people who don't always pay much attention to it. You know, I know family and friends who obviously just like not head deep into politics, but sometimes they'll look online and they'll see stories and whatnot and maybe not have the full context, but the context may be indifferent to what it actually is to it. This will always raise a bigger question. Who is fact-checking the fact-checkers? Why should people trust them? Yeah, and this is the thing. You get this perception of you can't trust anybody, anything. I mean, even I've said this on my channel, guys. You know, take everything with a pinch of salt. Even take everything with a pinch of salt. Just because I give you guys lots of information to you guys doesn't mean it's always 100% accurate. No channel can give you 100% accuracy. They can only give you the best information that the channel can give you the best information they possibly can to their certain extent, and it's up to you whether you want to take the information that's put in front of you, whether you want to take it as truth or lie, or maybe not take it in at all. Part of the answer lies in transparency, Morris says. Admitting mistakes is a strength rather than a weakness. People understand that no one is perfect. If you're upfront about getting numbers wrong or misspeaking, people accept that. It's the weasel words that make people more senile about politics. Yeah, I've made mistakes on this channel. I've done videos and said things that I shouldn't have said. But yeah, you get a lot of but the worst kinds of people are the people who make mistakes and never apologize for them. They're people. I absolutely hate those kind of people who never apologize for their for their mistakes. That's one thing that really infuriates me. That's one of the reasons why I hate the Conservatives so much, because they're not sorry for their misgivings. They're not sorry for their mistakes. They're not sorry whatsoever. But the mainstream media continue to paint the narratives for the British public. They continue to paint the narratives for the British public, a narrative that they want to perceive rather than the narrative that they should be shown about what's going on. That's a problem that I've always had with the mainstream media now for quite a while. Whenever I listen to them, there are times whenever I'm visiting parents or family or whatever, and the TV's on and watching the BBC News or ITV News or whatever, and I listen to it and it seems okay. Like, it doesn't scream like propaganda or anything. I mean, GB News, you might think differently, but it's different to everyone. I'm not saying we are protected. I'm saying the law adapts and evolves here, and social media might become more Euro-centric here, but there are deep differences between countries. There are deep differences between countries. Your social reality will become mine and mine are yours. Yeah, one of the problems is, yeah, because for those in Scotland, obviously, you know, you have a media that is not fair, that paints a different picture to what some people in Scotland have of their country. Same here. Sometimes I feel like they give enough truth so that they can. I think, you know, a perception that I have is sometimes the mainstream media gives you enough truth that they can sprinkle a bit of lies in as well. Sometimes I wouldn't say they blatantly lie to you, the mainstream media, but it's the narrative of how they put the headlines to you, and how they talk about it, the language that they use, the tone that they use. That really does matter. It's how you perceive a certain story that's put in front of you, both in newspaper and on a news outlet. Like, for example, right, I'm talking to you nice and calm right now about this story, right? Earlier on, I was absolutely fuming, talking about water prices going up, because I was expressing an emotion of anger and frustration because people are going to be paying more, and that bothers me. And I wanted to create a perception of, I want you to know that this is wrong and you should be upset, you should be annoyed about this story, because it means that people are going to be worse off as a direct result of this story, which is why I used that emotion when talking about water bills going up, because it will directly affect people. That's why I talked in that emotion. I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from, to be fair, guys. Let me bring up the chat here on the side. But please fact check laws on the matter in Portugal. Do not take my word for it. Yep. Yeah. If you're not 100% sure, yeah, check. Yeah, I'm sure it's not that hard to grab a link for the for his Discord, but it's not till 10 o'clock anyway. Normally, I don't think he comes on anyway. On there. Yeah. He even had pieces of traditional media deconstructing fakes and rumors, says Jow. I only speak where I live. Here in the law accompanies the evolution of technology. Here recently they did it in labour laws due to COVID. Interesting. Oh yeah, Alistair Kears provide a link to the Discord server. If anyone wants to join Dave McGuinness, I think he's doing an after chat later on at 10 o'clock tonight. I believe he is. 90% sure about that. Two of my colleagues were minors. They were charged with online bullying on my younger nephew a couple of years ago. This is not something taken lightly. Yeah. Indeed, guys. Indeed. So, guys, we covered quite a variety of stories today. Before we head out, before we wrap things up, I'm going to have one funny video for you guys. I have not played this one, so I really hope you guys get a laugh out of this one. This one is from Foil and Arms, so I hope you get a good one out of this one. And then I'll just discuss with you guys after the funny video some of the plans for this week, just to give you guys a bit of a heads up as well. But I hope you guys enjoy this funny video. It's from the Foil and Arms YouTube channel. The headline is called "The Morning After the Office Christmas Party." Didn't go exactly as planned, and you'll see why.
Thank you all for attending the Christmas party last night and turning up on time today. I'm sure there are some sore heads. We should first maybe speak about what happened last night. Obviously, Jeffrey hasn't turned up today, not surprising, considering his behaviour last night.
Never in all my days.
The first step is probably to have HR contact Jeffrey and then...
Oh, sorry I'm late.
Jeffrey.
Oh, last night was fun, wow. Oh, my head this morning though. Yikes.
You thought last night was fun?
Oh, it was brilliant, yeah, well, everything up to the dinner. I mean, I think it's a little hazy for me after that.
Does it?
Oh, that free bar, I think that might have been a mistake, guys. Whoa. Did we go anywhere after the restaurant,
Yes.
or?
The police station.
Oh.
In the hospital.
What?
And the dog kennel.
Random. What a night.
You don't remember anything?
I do remember Jane making an absolute fool of herself at the karaoke. Embarrassing. Hey, look, Don't Stop Believing. That is a difficult song. Anyway, you wanted to get the Hearn accounts closed off before Christmas, right? The expenditure's on my desk. I'll go grab it now. I'll be right back, team.
Are they buying it that you don't remember?
I mean, I think so.
Okay, well, look, this is the only way to save your job, okay? Just pretend like nothing ever happened, okay? People will be too embarrassed to talk about it or ever bring it up.
You really think he doesn't remember?
I mean, if you did what he did and remembered, could you really show your face around here again?
Good point.
You sure this is gonna work?
Yes, last year I shot myself in the Christmas party and I punched Declan in the face. Year before that, Amar took off all his clothes, covered himself in trifle. Then Steve kissed the boss's wife.
The boss doesn't have a wife.
He did at the time.
Why do we have a Christmas party every year?
I don't know.
Got him! So, any problem areas I've highlighted in
Jeffrey,
blue?
you killed someone last night.
I don't remember.
Well, if you don't remember, you don't remember. Okay.
Same venue next year?
And the free bar.
Yes, essential for morale. How do we feel about the sandwiches?
Doomda.
He killed someone. I don't want to know what happened with the kennel and the dog going to the kennel. You killed someone. Why are you back in work? Why are you not in the police? Why are you not? You should not. You should not. You killed someone. Why are you back at work? I don't remember it. Well, I'm sure people. Yeah. Yeah. Not. I don't think I've ever heard a story about a Christmas party where it went like that, but apparently that one did. Apparently that one did, guys. So, guys, let me just give you guys, before we head out, just a brief rundown of what's happening this week. So, tomorrow, we'll have the Snowflake Corner at 7 o'clock. So, do join me as I cover news from outside the UK from 7 all the way up till 8:15. I think we normally go up till. I will double check. I'm pretty sure there is question times this Wednesday. If there is a Prime Minister's questions, I will cover it on Wednesday. And then Wednesday evening, we have the Snowflake Show Christmas special with myself and Lee Korn. Do join us for that. We will be having some fun with that one. It's really looking forward to it. I haven't confirmed whether it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I need to double check because I think last time, because when we used to do Snowflake Show, we used to do it at 9 p.m. So it may get pushed back an hour, possibly. But at the moment, it's scheduled for 8 p.m. So just keep your eyes out on that. And then Thursday will be the Snowflake Watch. So normally we have that on Wednesday night. It'll be on Thursday night for you guys. Nothing will be on Friday. And if I have time, I will record Regan's News Round. I don't think I'll be able to record Bob's News Round. I am going to be recording a special premiere video for Christmas Day for you guys on Christmas Day, because I will not be here. So just so you guys know that there'll be a special premiere video that I'm working on for you guys. I'm hoping to record it tomorrow at least. It's basically going to be like a Friday Lights, but it's basically like a bit of a, but it's one that's going to be dropping on Christmas for you guys. So a bit of laughter and whatnot for that. And Monday we will have the Snowflake Viewpoint again on Monday. There'll be no live stream on Tuesday on Christmas Eve. No live stream on Christmas Day, but a premiere video. Nothing on Boxing Day. The next live stream may be on Friday, so I may do a Friday Lights. I probably will do some live stream on Friday. Not sure what, if it's a Friday Lights or a proper one, but I'll do something for you guys on that day at least. Anyway, so thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Really appreciate you guys giving your time to me. I've been at a few Christmas parties and it was a close thing. Don't fire the gun. Put the safety on. Put the safety on, David McGinnis. Put the safety on. No, I'm joking. Make it 9 o'clock. Suspend short. I'll check with him again just to see. But yeah, thank you guys all for your comments. Thank you guys for all for swinging by. Enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever you're doing. I think Dave McGinnis said later on he'll be doing an after chat on his Discord server. I think it'll be at 10 p.m. if I recall. So if you want to go and hang out there, please do so. But yeah, we are done here today. Let me know what you guys thought of some of the stories that we covered in the comments section below on the way out. But just before I go, we have one more thing to do. We need to check on Ollie. Ollie. Ollie's in a grumpy mood. He's unhappy. Do you know why he's really unhappy? He's not unhappy because of no super chats or membership. He's unhappy, right? Because he can't sit on the orb. Because I put the Christmas tree there. Because you know the Christmas trees. Because there's obviously a Christmas tree. You know, you got that Christmas tree, and then I've got the big Christmas tree down here. I don't want to touch the camera just in case I'm scared of it, but I've got the big giant Christmas tree here. I'm actually really bad because I haven't lit it up once, and I can light it up if I really wanted to. But the problem is you guys can't see it, and the tree is quite big, so it wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't be able to stand on this because it actually just go. It'd be too tall. So yeah, on that. So, yeah. But the lava lamp is all formed. The lava lamp is all formed. Look, you can see it there. So, at least there. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and have a great week, whatever you guys are planning, whether it's work, spending time with family, or whatnot. But just before I go, I have one last thing to say. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. Be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are notified of this live stream. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. Help me get one step closer to that 2,000 subscriber mark. Be greatly appreciated. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.